You guys asked for the recipe, so here it is. Take 1 stick of butter, brown it, and set it aside to cool. While the butter is cooling, you're going to tend to your sweet potatoes. I bake mine in the oven on 400 for 45 minutes. This saves me so much time because the skin literally falls off. Take your peeled sweet potatoes and put them in the blender and puree them. Yes, you want to puree your sweet potatoes. This is going to give you a velvety smooth texture and you won't have nan one string in your pie. Now you're going to add in your brown butter, evaporated milk, vanilla, spices, and sugars. Give it a nice stir and then add in a little bit of flour and your slightly beaten eggs. This recipe makes enough filling for 2 pies. Using store-bought pie crust because don't nobody got time, and I'm baking this in the oven on 350 for 55 minutes. Pie is so delicious and perfect for the holidays. Screenshot the recipe card, like and share this video, and let me know in the comments what other recipes you would like to see.
Today we're making a recipe for a time-honored Thanksgiving tradition, getting drunk with your family. We're making what I call a Midwestern sangria. To start, get yourself a large vessel. Pour in half a gallon of apple cider. Now, normally a sangria uses wine, but I'm using beer so your uncle will still drink it. We're gonna add half a cup of brandy, half a cup of Fireball. Now we're gonna make it extra festive with some nice fall fruit. I don't know if these actually add any flavor, they just look pretty. Give that a stir, a couple of cinnamon sticks, a little more to it. You want to keep this cold. Your fridge is probably full because it's Thanksgiving. All you gotta do is just throw this out on the back patio, wrap some snow around it, and you're good to go. It's important to drink this early in the day because then by the time dinner rolls around, you're ready for the toast. Hey, I'd really like to just say I'm thankful for all of you guys. This year, I'm thankful for brandy.
Easiest Thanksgiving appetizer right here at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Raincoast Crisp, what are they called? Fig and olive crackers. Gorgeous fig spread original by whatever that name is. So good. A couple of packages of goat cheese and put it all up on a pretty board. So good and easy.
Let's talk about this sweet potato pound cake with the caramel pecan glaze. And baby, it is delicious. You know how I feel about roasted sweet potatoes. Go see the pie video. Now, to make the puree, I'm just going to mix it up with a little bit of water just to get it really, really smooth. So, pound cake. We're going to use a pound of butter. That's part of the reason why it's called pound cake. I'm going to mix that up really, really good until it's nice and smooth and fluffy. You do want to see it change a little bit in color. Now adding in my sugars. And this is where people go wrong a lot of times. You actually want to beat your sugar and butter for about 4 to 5 minutes. It helps to create air and this light, fluffy texture that you can't get unless you do at this stage. Now I'm adding in 4 eggs plus 2 egg yolks. And you're going to add 1 egg at a time. Part of this is because you don't want to, all that work you just did to get a nice fluffy texture, you don't want to kill it by just dumping in all that liquid and all the eggs. It will make it go flat. This is just a reminder, anytime you make a cake, make sure that you scrape down your bowl, just to make sure everything's incorporated. Now adding in that sweet potato puree. And vanilla until it feels good because no one measures vanilla. But chill out because it's expensive. And I'm just going to mix that up really good. Folding once again to make sure everything's incorporated. I've got my dry ingredients. I've got my baking soda, baking powder, clove, nutmeg, and cinnamon are the spices that I like to use. But that's optional. You can always change it. So adding in the flour, I'm going to do this in thirds. I'm going to add in the flour, mix it really good until that's incorporated. I'm going to add in half of the sour cream. And the reason we're doing this is because we're trying to keep all that air we created, all that lift. I'm going to mix that all the way in. Back to flour and mixing in, back to sour cream, and finally ending with flour. And once that's mixed all the way good, scraping down that bowl one more time to make sure there's no dry bits. It should look like a thick frosting. I lost the footage where I actually add it to the bundt pan, but you just want to add it to a greased and floured bundt pan. I'm tapping it on the counter just to get any large air bubbles out so it cooks evenly.
For day 3 of my series 12 Days of Thanksgiving recipes, we are making glazed apple cider donuts that are soft and baked and so easy to make. We'll start by combining the dry ingredients, then the wet ingredients, which has apple sauce and apple cider. The apple sauce keeps the donuts moist, and the apple cider gives us the classic apple cider taste. Pipe the batter into a donut pan, and if you don't have a donut pan, you can use a muffin tin instead. Either works great. The glaze is a smooth cinnamon cream cheese glaze that is honestly addicting. Dip your donuts or muffins in and enjoy.
Look, I've been feeling your body in all different positions. You tell me, come over, baby, my keys in the ignition. And I know I said I'll probably end up by myself, but I don't want no one else. Look, I want you to meet my mama on a Sunday, then make a lot of love on a Monday. Never need no one else, babe, 'cause I'll be such an imposition for you.
Up next in my Thanksgiving food series are my white cheddar roasted garlic mashed potatoes. You're gonna quarter some potatoes. I used Yukon Gold. Bring them up to a boil. Make sure you add salt. Then take a head of garlic, add your olive oil. You're gonna roast this off in the oven. It's also the best part of the potatoes, so don't skip it. Next comes the cheese. I use white cheddar, grate it up. Grab a half a stick of butter and half a cup of heavy cream, and you're gonna bring it up till it's warm. Throw in your cheese with your cooked potatoes, pour over that cream and butter mixture, and smush it all up. Next, you're gonna add in your pepper and your salt. I use quite a bit of both. Then comes the roasted garlic. It'll look like this when it's roasted. It's so delicious and mild and sweet, and it adds the best flavor. This part looks questionable, but just trust the process. You're gonna smush it all up with a knife and put it in the potatoes. I know it looks gross, but I promise it's good. Mix up your potatoes with that garlic, and then you can serve it up. These are my white cheddar roasted garlic potatoes, and I hope you love them.
Here's the Thanksgiving recipe you can make today. Just mix together cranberry, sugar, water, and cinnamon and bake it in the oven at 350 for 1 hour, mixing halfway through. When it's all done cooking, stir in some pecans, and this will last for 3 weeks.
Okay, so for one of my recipes for Thanksgiving, I did a honey baked ham, and honestly, this is so easy. You don't have to go out and buy any fancy ass dishware that you've been seeing people do. Like, it's basic. The ham comes pre-cooked, and all you need is 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 stick of butter, a half a teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of garlic herb seasoning, and 1 teaspoon of honey. You're gonna melt that over medium-high heat in a skillet, and then you're gonna pour it all over the ham, get it in between the little hammy flaps, cover it with aluminum foil, and put it in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. You're gonna remove it from the oven and sprinkle like a tablespoon of brown sugar, put it back in the oven on broil for like 5 or 10 minutes until the skin gets all crispy on top. And that's it. It's literally so basic. You don't have to go buy extra ass dishware. You just literally buy it and make the little sauce and stick it in the oven and you're done.
Alright my friends, today we are making maple roasted vegetables. And as you can tell from my face, I was definitely burning my hand right now, so when you make this dish, do not hold it when it is hot. We start by cutting up all our veggies. We're doing carrots, Brussels sprouts, red onion, and butternut squash. The only butternut squash I had on hand was this kind that was already cut, so if you're using a normal one, just peel it, cut it, and make sure the seeds are scraped out. Pour them onto a big pan, and then in a small bowl, combine olive oil, maple syrup, and some salt. I used some garlic salt, but you could also use normal salt. Then pour it over the veggies and make sure it's all combined and evenly coated. Then pop those suckers in the oven at 425 for 25 to 35 minutes. When it comes out of the oven, don't touch it while it's hot like I did. Then top it with pecans and goat cheese. This is such an easy side dish that tastes so good. Enjoy!
Quick and easy. Turkey wings.
So now that it's candied yam times, I've washed, I'm going to peel and I'm going to slice my yams. So now that I'm finished peeling my yams, this is how I cut them in about 3/4 inch slices. Let's continue with the rest of your yams. In my humble opinion, the smaller potatoes peel easier and they also chop easier. The way my mama does her yams, she slices them and she does a shingling method and sort of builds it like a lasagna. So first you go in with your sugar, white and brown, your dark brown sugar, your cinnamon, the lightest sprinkle of nutmeg, vanilla. Add your next layer and repeat. After you add your butter, go with a little more sugar if you like. I like. And then you wrap it tight and you bake it at 350 for about an hour or until tails are tender. Don't forget to touch the salt because it's sweet. Finally, my yams are ready.